Hi.
Hi.
And hi to you.
Hi to you.
Welcome to the first episode of the Buddy and Lisa
show. Yes.
We have done multiple podcast episodes together over the years, going back to...
That's how we got together.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big ways.
Yeah, it's a big way because we are both writers, and we first became aware of each other, I'd say back in 2012 or 2013.
Yeah.
We connected on places like Twitter and Facebook through different like writing groups and writing hashtags, but we didn't really know each other until the beginning of 2014.
Unfortunately, I think he was more aware of me than I was aware of him at the time.
I can believe that.
I had a lot of stuff. That was back in the days when self-publishing was kind of really experiencing a new, fresh. Well, at least we're predating. You might have even predated that time, because I published my first book in 2011, and it's 2010 when I really got immersed in that world and all that.
I hear some people now refer to that time as like the golden age for self-publishers, because you know that's when Kindles had really taken off at that point, and so had Nooks and I guess other e-readers. So a lot of people were getting into self-publishing, and you did that very early on, like you said, in 2011.
And it was such a different world back then.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But anyways, he had a show.
Yeah, I had a show called Buddy's Writing Show, which can still be found on YouTube and in other places. And I thought she was really cute, and I wanted the reason to talk to you more. But also, I was very interested in your books, because you had two books out at that point. You had your short story and poetry anthology, Contemplations, out, and you had your novel, A 30-Something Girl. And I got a copy of Contemplations, and I read it, and I wrote to you telling you that I had read it, and how some of the stories in there had just like broken my heart, because some of them were like, just so intense and just so wonderfully written and very moving. And I asked you if you wanted to come on to my show and talk about that and talk about your novel and other upcoming projects. And that led to this.
Yes.
We're going to be celebrating our 11th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, and well, yeah, gosh, I hope so. I'm going to cross everything out.
Depends on what kind of co-host he is. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, fingers, and I'm crossing my toes too. You can't see that on camera and hear it in the audio.
They're really long. He has big toes.
They are. But anyway, so you went on to Buddy's Writing Show, and she also appeared multiple times, even very recently, on the Pop and Prose podcast. And we figured, we both, we just have so many things in common that we thought we'd have lots of things to talk about on our own podcast.
Okay, well, and also our life is like a podcast, because we sit at the same table that we're sitting at right now when we have our breakfast and lunch, and we will talk for insane amounts of time talking about shows and books and writing. And I was like, honestly, we should just probably record this and bring other people into the torture session. So,
And we sit at this table all the time. I mean, sometimes she's late for work because we're just sitting here at breakfast and having coffee and just chatting away about shows, including the one that we're going to talk about today. Oh boy, we've had quite the journey with this one series, haven't we?
Yeah, it's okay, so there's a little funny side note. We've been watching it for years now. Also behind us is our other co-host, who's really the king of the land here. His name is Tomlin.
Yeah, he's Tomlin. He has many nicknames.
He is the center of the universe, and he loves a good shot. So, but anyways, so the name of the show is Death in Paradise. But for whatever reason, when we started watching it, I could not wrap my head around that somewhat simple title to remember. So I decided to call it the Caribbean Murder Mystery, because that's easier to remember. And now I call it Dip. So there's been an evolution in my understanding.
For the longest time, it was, buddy, do you want to watch Caribbean Murder Mystery?
Yeah.
And that was it, probably till the third or fourth season.
Yeah. And one of my coworkers is the one I think who really got us onto it. Her and her husband mostly watch British shows, Acorn and BritBox. So she got us turned on to that, and we fell in love with Death in Paradise. And there's 14 seasons out, and
Yeah.
it's only been. It took us the longest time to get the first 6 seasons clear, and then this year we really were dedicated to the mission of just plowing through it. And now we're all caught up.
Yeah,
so.
I'd say it was probably closer to like 2 years ago when we first tried it.
Yeah.
And we never ever disliked it, but there was just other things going on in our lives. And if any of you are TV lovers, I don't have to tell you, there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's easy to get wrapped up in different series and movies and just binge watch. And plus, we're book lovers, so there were periods where we're watching a lot of TV.
Yeah.
But boy, once we got into this, like you said, after the first few seasons, then we just. We've been binging like crazy the past few months.
And we have, so I don't know if you said this, but this series is based on a book series, or was inspired by?
Well,
no, maybe I'm making all of that up.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I've seen a couple different interviews with the creator of the show, and I think I've seen varying accounts on this. On one point, he said that he envisioned it first as books, and then then maybe a TV series. But then I've seen the opposite of that too.
Oh, okay.
I think the way it played out was it ended up being the TV series first, but then he subsequently wrote four novels.
Right.
Based on the original characters in the series. So I think it could have gone either way. It's just the way it worked out was that it was on TV first.
He's the pop culture junkie. So I'm usually wrong, really honestly, about most things in life. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there.
And I may be wrong because I think that came from Wikipedia.
Probably not. He's literally like a little walking version of Wikipedia. And,
well, thanks. I thank you. I thank you.
I thank you.
I thank you.
I thank you.
Yes, I
thank you as well.
So yeah, Death in Paradise.
So we talk about the first inspector. Maybe we'll
let's
go.
talk about the first inspector.
Yeah. So the first inspector was Richard.
Yes.
And he was pretty short-lived.
He was on the first 2 seasons.
And I loved Richard so much. And it's actually been and we'll talk in greater detail about each one of the inspectors, but I have to say, for the longest time, every new inspector we found, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to like anyone after that as much as that person, but they just kind of kept becoming new favorites, and I just applaud them because the characters and the actors and actresses who play them are just amazing.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to Robert Thorogood too, who we mentioned, the creator, and for the longest time he was the main writer on the show too. I think he I think it was like season 9 or 10. I think when he got away from that, and he's been maybe a guest writer once in a while, but he was running the whole deal, and he kept all the replacement deputy inspectors very good. They were all very different from each other. They might have shared some same tendencies. Well, in that, I think first of all is that they were all sort of fish out of water characters.
Exactly.
Because the series takes place on, was it
Saint Marie.
Saint Marie, yes,
which is a fictional island. The real island is Guadalupe.
Yes, that's where they filmed the show.
Yeah, and a little side note, because we've seen I've read multiple interviews by some of the inspectors. You'll notice, first of all, I go in circles, so best of luck with you. But we're probably going to be revealing some spoilers. So.
Well,
no, I mean.
Yeah, just to a degree, like.
Oh, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because boy, that was gonna come right up.
Just that some of the characters are on here longer than others. Obviously, like you mentioned, that Richard is the first 2 seasons.
Well, I'm glad he corrected me. I was sitting here thinking that we were going to just be talking freely about everything, but apparently I need to behave myself.
I think that's about the only thing that we can. The thing I whispered to you.
Well, whatever. He's already ruined it, because now I'm gonna have to behave myself. So, which is probably a good thing, because I mean, how poopy is that if you come on here and you listen to us talk about everything? We've ruined all the big highlights.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. See, again, right? He's sitting on the left. I'm on the right, but I'm usually not.
She's, you're right more often than not. That's for sure.
Well, anyways, they're all quirky. I would have to say, I don't know, right off the bat, if I had to pick my favorite inspector, I'm tied. It used, gosh, for the longest time it was Richard, and then we had Humphrey, who, for anyone who has watched Love Actually, he was the British guy who went to America and ended up hooking up with these like gorgeous women in Wisconsin and having like, I don't know,
Chris Marshall is the actor, and
an orgy with them on there. But he was hilarious, and so when Humphrey came along, I was like, oh gosh, I really love him too. But I have to say, if I had to nail my top two, no offense to Richard, I would have to say it would be, is it Moody? Who is
Mooney.
Mooney.
Detective Inspector Jack Mooney, who was played by, I'm not sure if I'm saying his first name right, but Ardal O'Hanlon.
Yeah.
And he was on the series quite some time for seasons 6 through 9.
Yeah, he was the next to longest person. I think Neville. So those are my two favorite. If I had to pick it so far, it would be Jack and Neville.
Yeah.
Neville,
I agree.
honest to God, if I was a man, is me.
Yes. She's very
I am
similar
allergic
to
to life. I have a lot of issues, and you know, the opening credits when he's the inspector is him just covering himself with like all this bug spray.
And isn't he like taking something for his that could be misconstrued as like an illegal drug, but no, it meant like spray for like
nose spray
and
all
like
that other stuff.
Yeah.
And he just I just really I really loved I loved them.
Yeah, I love them too. And what's nice is, like I said earlier, that they share some similarities in that most of them, I would say the majority of them, actually weren't initially there on the island by choice. It was usually that there was some sort of murder committed on the island, and because the island, I guess, falls under, was it the supervision of England?
Yeah.
There's usually someone from London who is sent there to investigate these murders, a deputy inspector. And like actually, that's how it starts off with Richard Poole, the current deputy inspector who had been there. I forget his character's name, but we see him killed right at the beginning of the very first episode. So Richard goes there, and Richard, he's very quirky.
Oh yeah,
very, very, and he was played by Ben Miller, played wonderfully by Ben Miller.
And he wore. I mean, now this isn't. I totally sidetracked myself back there. I was going to say that. Some of the interviews, you'll notice that these inspectors don't stay for long periods of time. Neville and Jack were the two longest. I think I think Neville beat him by just a little bit being there. But apparently, it is very difficult to be on the island. The island is almost constantly having like horrendous weather and storms that they have to deal with, and it's very isolating. And it's just hard for the actors. So I think they struggle finding people who want that kind of cut-off commitment. But anyways, Richard, so it's a tropical island. It's hot. And obviously the weather is wildly different in London. It's my perfect weather. I'm a gloomy, rainy person. So I'm in a league of my own there. But he wears a suit with socks up to his ankles every single day, and it's just like you feel hot for him watching.
He so doesn't want to be there. I think one of the things that used to make us giggle was always the opening credits, where you would see him like pulling his suitcase along the beach near the shack that he stays at. All of these deputy inspectors end up staying on this shack owned by, I guess, the police department there.
Selwyn,
owned by Selwyn, Commissioner Selwyn Patterson, who we'll talk about a little later on. But
and all of them have the same roommate.
Oh yeah.
So there's one minor spoiler alert is Harry.
Harry. Yes, Harry is a lizard.
Yes.
That Richard meets. I assume it's in the first episode or one of the first episodes. And the shack actually has a tree.
Yeah, that grows in it.
That grows in it. It's like I said, it's right on the beach. It's got this most beautiful view. That's probably, I would love that. I wouldn't love all that heat, but the view would be great right there on the ocean. And but he names his lizard Harry. And throughout all the subsequent deputy inspectors who end up staying there, Harry always pops in, and they all get to know him.
And they learn to feed him. He like smushed up mangoes with flies or dead bugs on top of it.
Exactly. So that's our big spoiler, is that Harry is always there.
Yes.
In case you're wondering, is this guy going to be around? Yes. Harry is there. And Richard was such a great character.
He really was.
And initially we were like, oh, he's gone already. Right after that, I think it was the very beginning of the third season that he left.
Yes.
But we ended up loving Humphrey and Jack and Neville and
Humphrey was the most disorganized.
Oh, he was a mess.
Detective you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
I loved that he just constantly was picking like napkins out of his suit pocket, or grabbing random pieces of paper and ripping it off something at the crime scene.
In some ways, it was similar to me,
and taking
little notes everywhere.
And people, and I think Florence tried to. Was it Camille or was it?
I think it was Camille.
It was Camille
first.
Yeah, it was
Camille Bourdet.
Yeah, I think somebody tried to get him a little notepad to actually take notes, and he just wasn't, have. And that's what's kind of neat, is they're all quirky.
Mm-hmm.
I would say they're all quirky with the exception of the most current inspector.
Yeah. He's got issues. But
yes, but he is probably, I will be fully honest, and this isn't a spoiler, I did not like him at first.
Yeah, and I felt the same way. And
I kind of thought he was a jerk, and I was not happy with, I was really hoping that he was just going to, be in and out pretty quickly. But he has really grown on me, and I had seen a lot of people say that they thought he was one of the best inspectors.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, if you're talking about a realistic, portrayal, I would say he's the most realistic detective.
He's probably the closest to what you envision most detectives to be like, without a lot of the quirks.
Yeah.
He is Detective Inspector Mervyn Wilson, and he first appeared in very recently in the 2024 Christmas special. He's played by, I don't know how to say his last name, but it's either Don Gillett or Gillette.
And I think he's really well known for EastEnders. I'm pretty sure that's the
I think you're right. Yeah,
I have not seen that, but he really grew on me by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you someone who also grew. I liked him. He's not an inspector, but is Commissioner Selwyn.
Yes.
Selwyn Patterson. He really blossomed, and I think that's one of the things I love about the show is it's been on for so long, and this is why, like, if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, start from the beginning, because definitely. It is like so many series in that, look, the murders are self-contained episodes, but there is quite a bit of growth, especially for the characters who have been there for a long time. I mean, even Catherine, who owns a bar that you meet, and there's a lot of other things that evolve with her life, there on the island, and
you see, while, like Lisa said, the episodes are self-contained as far as the murder mysteries happen. There's a murder in really, I think, like 98% of the episodes. There might have been one or two where there weren't, but there are some like ongoing storylines. Like you'll see like some of the younger police officers who come in. So there's some of maybe their struggles in becoming a police officer is continuous, like throughout like maybe a season or so. So you want to watch. I'd suggest watching in order. I guess you don't have to, but we're nerdy that way. Whether it's a book series we're reading, or a TV series, or a series of
everything
movies.
Except Shetland. That we just almost have to start again on that one. We do.
I remember I watched the first.
He made a big mistake. He was wrong in this instance.
I watched the first two seasons. It's funny. I'm some of the notes I printed out. It has it says series rather than seasons, because the British actually say it differently. But I watched the first two seasons/series by myself. Loved them, and each of the episodes, I guess, was 90 minutes long. And I thought going into season 3 that they were shorter. So I'm like, okay, this will be perfect. I'll put Lisa onto season 3 because you had shown reluctance about watching anything too long, and those were all 90 minutes.
Yeah, and I was like, but you loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to get.
We should go back to the beginning of that.
But yeah, and I have to
these
say,
are shorter. If we didn't say that already,
these are
generally a little less than an hour.
Yeah, about. I'd say just about an hour, except for some of the Christmas specials.
Yeah,
those are just a
little
hair longer, whatever, maybe an hour or 20 minutes, something like that. But I think one of the things that I've noticed as the show progressed, I have to say, in the last probably 5 seasons, and I think this is actually one of the things that really propelled us to binge it at a faster rate, was I feel like the character development and all those side stories really hit its perfect stride in the second half of the new series.
I agree.
I feel like there was more of that. I feel like they relied more on the silly kind of humorous characters at the beginning, which were great.
Oh yeah.
But they kind of married that with authenticity a little bit better, I think, and I think the team that we ended on in the current season is really one of the strongest all-around teams, as far as not being too overly silly or whatever.
I agree with you 100% on that. And while we mentioned that the deputy inspectors have changed throughout the series, we're on the 5th one now with Mervyn. You've also seen a change in the staff that works with them. As a matter of fact, the only ones who are on the series now that were on at the very beginning were the commissioner that you mentioned, and Catherine, who is also the mother of the first Camille. DS. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, detective.
DS and DI.
Yeah.
Detective Sergeant.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, Detective Sergeant, Detective Inspector.
Yeah, Camille Bourdet, and
we had quite a long run in the first 6 seasons or so with the officers, because there's only the 2 inspectors, the commissioner, and then there's 2 officers. Yeah. And the 2 officers, the original one, stayed pretty long. I mean, it was. I feel like it was only in the more recent things that.
Well, the longest has been Officer Dwayne Myers.
Yes.
And he was on series 1 through 7, and he's appeared multiple times since then.
Yeah.
You had one guy who only lasted the first 3 seasons. I kind of forgot about him until I saw him on here, and that was Sergeant Fidel Best.
Yes.
And then after that was one of our favorites, and that's JP.
Oh, yeah.
JP Hooper. I love JP. JP is one of my favorite characters on the show.
I just love him.
Yeah, and also Ruby. Ruby Patterson was on there for a little while. Ruby. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think during the era, correct me if you feel differently, but where we had Jack Mooney. Yeah. That's when things, I think, took a little turn where maybe you were, there's still plenty of silliness and funny stuff. But because he was a little bit older, he was a widower. He'd recently lost his wife of, I think, over 20 years. Yeah. He needed a change. And so there were circumstances that coincided with Humphrey needing a change in his life, where he replaced Humphrey and came to the island, and he had a young adult daughter too, who you'd see sometimes on the show. But I think when he came on, you had him then with
Shaban. She had a great name.
Oh yeah.
Shaban.
Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that he was teamed up mostly with. Was it Camille? No. With Florence. Yeah, with Florence. Yeah, and he was almost like a fatherly figure for her. I think I'd say in some ways.
He kind of kicked off the. Let's just cry through murder mystery things. I mean, really,
some very touching episodes.
The writing. I think that's where everything really started to, like you said, hit the stride, and on all different levels. Yeah. The writing got tighter. Yeah. The character development really got fleshed out, and we got much more robust, round, for the writers out there, round characters that
absolutely.
Were much more relatable, I think, than some of the other ones,
and even some of the ones that had been around for a while, like Dwayne. There were times when Dwayne was the older of the uniformed officers, and he was so silly at times. But it seemed like, I think, towards the beginning, it almost seems like sometimes he was lazy in his job. But then when you had Jack come in, and maybe it was even some with Humphrey, Dwayne's character became more well-rounded. Was taking his job more seriously. I think he liked when he was a mentor to JP.
Well, and I think JP made him step up his game a little bit, because he saw this young man who was kind of out policing him in
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And that a competition will make anybody, start to
Yeah.
kind of
kind of step up their game. Exactly. And one thing that's been interesting too, we don't want to give away too many spoilers with this either, but there have been some romantic attractions between some of the deputy inspectors with their detective sergeants. For example, the first one, Richard Poole, there was definitely an attraction there between him and Camille.
Yep.
Yeah, and you saw same thing with Camille and Humphrey. One was more interested in the other
Yes.
than the other. And and there's been some really
There's
good
been
things.
some other ones.
There's been some other ones too, without giving away too
Yeah,
much.
that are really like they're gonna drag you
drag
through
you out and-
the wrenches.
Yeah. When we watch these things too, we try not to. It's funny. Part of us wants to geek out, especially me, because I'm
Yeah.
a big old geek,
I'm
and
better
read things
at,
online.
Yeah, I'm better at living under a rock.
Yeah.
I'm very cozy under a rock. So I'm oblivious to a lot of things.
Well, there was one thing though that Lisa had seen. She'd read online. We're
Oh,
not going to
yeah.
say exactly what it is.
Let me just tell you,
Go
when
ahead.
when you Google things, see now everything the AI stuff, and I know that's a whole hot topic in and of itself. And I'm not actually an AI hater. I feel like we're just in an awkward phase of where we're trying to find balance.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when the internet became a big thing,
Oh, yeah.
and chat rooms and social media and
AOL chat rooms
and all that. But all that to say that one thing that is sometimes helpful but sometimes horrible in these circumstances, if you Google one little thing, just to look up a character, the actor or the actress that's playing them, to look up like other things that they've been in, here comes the news articles and the links of things, and there's a spoiler right there in the headline.
Oh yeah.
And
hate that.
I even if you don't click on it to read more about it, it's planted some sort of spoiler. So I learned something kind of big, which propelled us to really zip through things, because I'm like, okay, I think it's coming up, and then it just kept not coming up.
Yeah.
And
So we kept waiting for this thing to happen, and we're like, was the article even right?
yeah, oh, I know. I was starting to question whether or not
I think we had like 2-3 seasons where we're like, okay, maybe what you read was wrong.
we didn't get a lot of sleep during that time.
We were so hooked on watching this show.
Oh, it was like,
It's so compelling.
1 o'clock, and we're like, should we make coffee? And when I say 1 o'clock, I mean in the morning
yeah.
on a weeknight when I have school and work.
I mean, there's such clever murder mysteries
Yeah.
in this show too. I mean, and,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're in season 14, and I think the mysteries are just as good, even if not better,
Yeah.
than towards the beginning.
Well, I think I mentioned to you on one of the recent ones where I feel like potentially, I would love to actually, I should geek out on this now because we're
all
caught up.
so nothing's going to be ruined.
But
for
one
us.
of the things that sometimes these murders are so bizarre and so out of left field that I felt like, was this a situation where a friend or family member of one of the writers, the writer said, hey, just make up the most weird thing, whatever,
Yeah.
and that some person just made up something like, well, they come up with a murder that seems impossible actually to do, because it just seems like lately it's been, well, how is that possible?
Well, yeah, because there was one even recently where someone got killed on an elevator that simply traveled, I want to say like 2 floors down.
Yeah.
And there should have been no way that anyone could
How
have
about the
gotten into
zip wire?
Oh,
The
yeah,
zip
yeah. Someone
line.
was killed on a
Somebody
zip line.
got on a zip line,
Yeah.
and got killed in between the seconds that it took for them to jump off and go down it to the ending. When they got to the end of the zip line, they were
there was
dead.
a knife in them. They were
And I was like,
stabbed.
is somebody just saying, oh, well, let me see how clever you are to come
Yeah.
up with a solution to that?
And
And
maybe
they
are.
do.
Maybe the writers sit around saying, okay, let me try to outdo you. Here's another thing that's
Or maybe there's just really clever murderers. There's so many
that's true, yeah.
crime junkies.
Yeah.
You would think we would be into that, but we're not really. I like
Into the
it
true
when
crime stuff?
I like it when I know that it's fiction.
Yeah.
Because I like to delude myself into thinking there's not really that many heinous people doing that stuff in real life. But
Yeah, but it's just such a good series. I was, I recorded an episode earlier today of my Pop and Prose podcast to give a little shout out to the Pop and Prose, and I had Robert Chaz Shoot on, our friend Shoot. Not I always want to say Shoot, but it's Shoot, and I told him what we were going to be talking about, and he's never seen this before.
He has a great website, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, All That Chaz.
All That Chaz.
Yeah, with two Z's. Yeah, like jazz.
Not jazz, but Chaz.
Yeah. He says two Z's if you're nasty or something like that.
By the way, a little side plug for him. If you like kind of dark, murderous types of things, he's looking for book reviewers. So pop on over to Pop and Prose and
check out the show I did.
Check
with
out
him.
Get links to see him, and if you're a reader, reviewer, writer, whatever, maybe connect with him for a copy.
Absolutely. He's got a new novel out called Vengeance is Hers. Yeah, it's got a fantastic cover, and he read you haven't heard it yet, but he read a section of the
nice.
book.
Yeah. He's got a good voice for that.
So Robert, if you're checking this out, I'll remind you to check out Death in Paradise. It's just, if you love murder mysteries, if you just love, I think, well-written stories and well-acted stories, this is one to definitely check out. We watch it on BritBox.
Yes.
And I guess it's, I assume made through the BBC. And and I don't know if there's any other we've mentioned all these different characters. Like we said, there's been so many good ones.
Yeah, JP is probably one, as far as side characters go, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. I liked the one that came in after him too, that was there just a short time, and that was Marlon.
Oh yeah, Marlon.
Marlon.
Yes.
Yeah, it was without giving away too much, but Marlon was part of. Well, he was pretty much raised on the island, but had gotten into some trouble with the law and all that. Kind of maybe had some hard times where he had a younger sister that he pretty much had to take care of. Yeah. So he was out there committing some crimes to make some money, and JP, the police officer, sort of took him under his wing, and then the police department, I guess, put out this program to help troubled youths and to maybe make them train as officers to become police officers. And Marlon came in, and he was there for, I want to say, 2-3 seasons, and a fantastic character. Now we got this new guy who is interesting too.
All I'm going to say is pineapple.
Yeah, just that's all we'll say about him.
He's a happy pineapple.
He's a happy pineapple.
That will make sense when you get there.
And he just came in season 14. We weren't sure about him at first.
Yeah, but he's really
he won us over
me.
quickly. I mean, the writers on the show are so good.
And there's elements, and I don't think this is too much of a real big spoiler, but just a personality trait to kind of go towards talking about how they really have deepened how they explain characters and you know, I don't know how to talk apparently anymore. It's been a long day. Is he clearly they don't outright say it, but it's obvious that he must have ADD.
Yeah. Yes, they don't come right out and say it, but yeah.
And I don't want to say the officer that works with him, only because she has an interesting evolution.
Yes,
I'll
she
say
does.
it's a female, and she has an interesting evolution to how she becomes one of the officers.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say her name because she was a pretty pivotal other character in the show, but then became
if you're starting
an
from
officer.
the beginning, it would probably serve you better to not know.
But
who
she
we're
had
talking
this
about.
really touching scene with him where, you know, she was kind of annoyed with him because he wasn't focusing and all that, and he's like, I'm really sorry, I just have a lot of things in my head and I have a hard time. And Buddy has ADD, and you know, I instantly was like, oh wow, that's really awesome that they're depicting somebody, and yet again showing that just because it's not. Just because someone has a problem focusing or staying focused doesn't mean that they're stupid or they're dumb or lazy or whatever people think about that. So it was nice.
It was nice. And what I liked, and we've already alluded to it, is that they didn't come right out and say ADHD or ADD. It's called both things. But they pretty much mentioned some of the big
well-known
symptoms of it. You know,
the ones
like
that
for example, he was missed out on some things in a police case they were investigating because he was on his phone. He was looking at stuff on his phone. And we won't go too far down that road right now, but they did a great job of that.
Yeah, they've done a really good job.
Yeah, and the new inspector is really good, and we were kind of left at the end of series 14 with a bit of a cliffhanger regarding him.
Yes.
And also regarding one other major character who we're not sure is going to continue on the series or not. There's every indication that he or she is not. But who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, I will say there's only one thing that disappointed me personally, and I'm not going to say you shouldn't watch this because everyone likes different things. But Humphrey, we liked Humphrey so much. He was just a lot of fun. He was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when I learned that he was in a spin-off show called Beyond Paradise, I was so excited. And I instantly became so very not excited after watching the first couple episodes.
We only watched the first 2, yeah.
Which were so Daisy Downer and so the absolute opposite of how Death in Paradise is, that it really, to me, didn't embody, I made the joke to you that it was Beyond Paradise. There was no paradise at all in this, at all, other than the fact that you knew it would end at some point. And some people might like it, which is weird. I usually like darker themes, but I guess I watch certain things with certain expectations. And I think spin-off things have to be careful because if you don't embody the same kind of vibes you got in the first one, I just didn't like his team on there. I didn't like how the mysteries were revealed. I just didn't like anything about it. And a lot of the prominent things that they focused on were things that were happening in his personal life that were very sad and very dark. And my coworker who got much further in it, asked me if I wanted to know spoilers as to what happened, and I'm not going to say them here, but I told her yes, because I want to know whether or not I'm going to invest the time or not. And she told me, and I was like, I'm not interested in those storylines, so I let it go. But other people may like it whatsoever. Might like it.
Yeah, I think that's in its either 3rd or 4th season now, and I've heard mixed things on it. Yeah, I've heard from a couple people the same thing, that while they thought Chris Marshall, who played Humphrey, was still great, and his character was very similar to how he had been on the island.
Yeah.
He changed some because he's a little older, and this won't give anything major away, but he is in a relationship with a woman on this island. I can't remember if he's engaged or just dating her when we saw it.
It just all sucks from my perspective. It's my perspective, and I know that I am not selling you on this show, but I'm not here to sell you on the show. I'm here to give you a warning. Just know it's not going to be the same. It's just not.
And speaking of not the same, there is we have not seen this yet, I don't know if it's going to premiere on BritBox so that we can see it, but there is another spin-off too, I think, called After Paradise.
Oh, Lord.
Where it doesn't feature any characters that were on Death in Paradise or Beyond Paradise, as far as I know, but it centers around a woman who is from Australia, and she is a police officer, I guess, in London, and some sort of events lead her back to the paradise that she had lived in Australia.
Oh.
I think the big connection here is that, from what I understand, Detective Inspector Jack Mooney worked with her in London.
Oh, okay.
And he appears, I think, in 1 or 2 of the first episodes of the show. So I think that's the connection. Don't know much more about it past that. I've understood that it did well. I think if they throw a paradise in the title,
Now, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Not much more.
Well, I was just going to say, kind of pivoting to other British series.
Yeah. Really pretty, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. My hair looks pretty cool with this
Yeah.
light coming in.
It
I
does.
like the gray. I earned every single one of them.
Well, she's been with me for 11 years, so yes.
Well, and I've also worked with lawyers for almost 3 decades, so that'll give them to you. But we've had quite a few. We subscribe to both Acorn and BritBox.
Yeah.
Acorn we've been off and on, but I've really embraced them now.
Now we're into it. Yeah.
We've watched, Doc Martin.
Oh yeah, Doc Martin was the first one that we binged like crazy.
One of my most favorite series ever. That will be something
wonderful.
I wouldn't mind rewatching, even random episodes and stuff. Kind of like a Friends, going back to it. I just loved the characters so much.
And I told Lisa the other day, I had read that sometime in the next year or so, there's going to be a series on Fox here in America where that is supposedly an American version of Doc Martin. I think it takes place, though, in a New England town or something like that. You got your work ahead of you, people doing that show, because the original Doc Martin was just wonderful.
I have my Doc Martin, and great for other people who want to see it. It's kind of like, a lot with superhero shows. They come out with, I mean, my God, if there's another Superman, I'm just going to throw up. But every single one speaks to a different, sometimes generation, a different group of people. And I think for the people who, like for me, it's really hard for me to think of anyone being Superman other than Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
But I do realize that to keep something fresh, sometimes you have, like, if they ever came up with new Harry Potters, I'm sorry, but the original cast of Harry Potter is my Harry Potter.
And they're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a series on HBO, which to me just doesn't seem necessary. I mean,
but it might be for some people, and I'm not one of those people who's going to poo-poo it. I may not watch it, but I'm not certainly going to poo-poo it. But all that to say, so Doc Martin was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was one of our favorites.
Some of our newer ones, Ludwig.
Yeah, that was really good.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's only had one season so far, and I can't remember if we watched it on Acorn. I like to call it Acorn.
Acorn.
Yeah, put on Acorn. We'll watch one of these British shows.
I think Ludwig is on
BritBox.
Okay. I think. I could be wrong.
It's another very interesting premise behind that. Do you want to?
No, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ludwig is not actually the character's name. It's I guess he uses the name though because in the puzzles that he makes. He's a great puzzle maker. He's been brilliant since he was a child. He is one of a pair of twin brothers, and he has a twin brother who is I believe a deputy inspector in London, and the brother who's the deputy inspector goes missing, and his wife actually calls. Well, let's just call him Ludwig, because I can't remember his character's name. Calls Ludwig and says, "Hey, could you come here? Your brother's missing." He's like a real introvert. He doesn't go out much. He's very sheltered.
He's another
very
version
quirky.
of me. Yeah.
Very quirky, but he's got this brilliant mind. Like we said, he's the master puzzle maker.
Not like me. Yeah.
But events happen where he ends up. This isn't giving too much away either because it happens in the first episode where he pretty much has to impersonate his brother, who is the deputy inspector.
And he's so brilliant. He almost becomes like a sleuth, like an amateur sleuth, in that his ability to solve puzzles obviously allows him to think outside the box and creatively, and he ends up being kind of addicted and very good at solving murders and seeing things that nobody else can see, and they're kind of like, what is happening here?
Yeah, and he's much different than his brother, so they're like, what happened to this guy?
Yeah, it's really a great series.
Great series, and I think there's 6 or 8 episodes in the first series. Kind of leaves you again on a little bit. It resolves nicely, but it's still a little bit of a teaser. But it's interesting because in the first episode, he doesn't go there with the intention of saying, I'm going to pose as my brother and solve crimes. I think he's going there just to pick up something. His wife wanted him to pick up something that her husband had left there. But subsequently, there is a murder that happens. So,
and they know him as the police officer, his twin. So they're like, hey, we got to go to the scene. And he's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, it's really very, very good. And so we loved that. We binged that, I think, in a weekend.
And then I saw, BritBox, and all these networks, they send you. So since I'm the person who subscribes to the stuff, I get all these emails, which I'm actually thankful for. Well, they'll be like, here's what's coming up, or get excited about this. And so I was really excited when I saw this one show on Acorn show up. It featured Stephen Moyer. Stephen Moyer I just love him. He was in True Blood, which first of all, the Sookie Stackhouse series books were amazing. I devoured them. And the series was quite different from the books. But I enjoyed the series mostly.
Much more than I didn't see it until you had already seen.
Yeah, I liked the beginning part of it. Towards the end, it lost me a little bit. I got a little too much. But anyways, Stephen Moyer played Vampire Bill, which was kind of like the big protagonist vampire of True Blood, which was funny because he was a very small, insignificant character in the books. Vampire Eric, who's played by Alexander Skarsgård, was the much bigger one in the books, and he was pretty big in the show as well. But and we'll have a little minor non-BritBox spinoff, thinking of True Blood.
I think that could be a whole other episode of our show.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
We'll hint at that at the end.
Yeah, we'll hint at that. Yes.
But Stephen Moyer
is coming.
also. This has nothing to do with British shows, but he's married to Anna Paquin, who was Sookie Stackhouse in True Blood.
True Blood.
But anyways, I saw he was in this new murder show. I don't know why the British people, like, I think it's because they don't have a lot of crime in their life, so everything is a murder mystery. And I don't know why Americans are just used to murders.
Yeah.
Because they happen all the time. But it really is kind of interesting. But he is in art detectives, and he's like this art expert.
Yeah, he knows everything about all different kinds of art.
So he works with the Heritage Crime Unit, which is a special crime unit that has to help the police department solve crimes, that have some element of any type of art in it, not just actual art, but like music, all of that. Really fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I love everybody in that one. That one kind of blew me away. I got my coworker at work onto that, and they're binging
Matter of fact, that's like we said, that's on Acorn, or Acorn if you prefer. The first season of that is actually finishing tonight. We're recording this on July 7th, and that's going to be on tonight.
So that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, so I'm going to be looking forward to that, and he's very good in that. I don't know the name of the young woman who plays his partner in it, but she's
awesome.
Great actress,
and they have
she's
a good. They have a good relationship.
Yeah, and there's an interesting storyline too involving just a couple, with a romance that his character is in. And even though he's this confident in what he does with being an art expert and solving these crimes, he's very brilliant at solving crimes. It seems like maybe he's
a little shy in the romantic front.
Yeah, he's a little shy in the romantic front, and there's also something with his familial. Is that how you say it? Family history.
Yes.
I was trying to be fancy. But yeah. In his history.
His pop.
Yeah, his pop. There's some interesting stuff there too. So if you have not seen Art Detectives yet,
and then last night.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, this is what's also going to be happening after this show.
Yeah.
This was in response to, I can't remember if it was an email sent to me and or something that popped up on my Instagram feed.
Because a new season was
about ready to, I think today,
today.
premieres today, and it's on Acorn, Madame Blanc.
Mysteries, Madame Blanc Mysteries.
Madame Blanc Mysteries. Now what's funny is the theme song, at least for the first season, sounds like a theme song of a like soap opera.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's like, I'm just passing by.
And I just wanted to be with you. And it's like,
it's not what you would think. It's sort of like, for those of you who know Star Trek, like that season of like Star Trek where they had like vocals in it, it just doesn't seem like it fits.
Well, and then in the background, so you're hearing that, and then there's like, people pouring poison into water in the background. It's very interesting.
I mean, it's a good song.
But we sat down, we were like, well, let's just try one episode last night. So we have one left of season 1. That's how last night went.
It was really good, and I guess we didn't really say much about it, but basically she is Jean
White. Hence the Blanc. Blanc is French for white.
Yeah.
Her husband dies.
Yeah, she had been living in London.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not really spoiling anything because this is literally in the little.
I think it's before the credits even started.
Well, I mean, even if you just look up the show in the description of the show, it will tell you her husband dies and leaves her bankrupt, basically. And so she has nothing except for this tiny little cottage that she visited once when they were on vacation in this small little remote village in France.
Right.
And so she goes there to try to get her things in order and I guess see if there's things that she can sell. And so she gets...
maybe sell the property that she had there.
She basically ends up learning when she goes to retrieve the, what do they call it? Why am I drawing a blank on that?
I know, but it would make you suffer.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know what you're...
No, her husband's stuff.
Oh, his belongings?
Yes, his
Retrieve
stuff.
his belongings?
Yeah, there's another word that's more fancy than stuff. But she goes to the police station to retrieve his personal possessions. And there is something in there that leads her to believe he was murdered.
Right.
So she kind of like art detectives. This is what drew. I instantly saw a connection, kind of similarity with them. Is she is like an antique expert.
Yeah.
She knows like all the stuff about antiques and everything, and so she's simultaneously trying to investigate her husband's murder, but also in working with the police on that to try to find out what's going on. They learn about how unbelievably smart she is with this, and they end up pulling her in to assist on cases. So she's kind of like a sleuth of her of her own.
Yes, they hire her as sort of a consultant for when they so and plus with that she quickly becomes sort of ensconced with this group of interesting characters there.
And she's like a celebrity because everybody knows her. Because they knew her husband
really well.
Yeah, so they knew that he had passed away, and so she was. I think the cab driver, who is a prominent character, at least in the first season. What is his name?
It's not Jack, is it?
No, it's whatever.
Yeah.
The cab driver.
We're very new to this.
I'm horrible at remember. I can't even remember people's names in real life. But anyways, he says to her before he takes her into a local pub, "Prepare yourself," because basically everyone stops, puts down their drinks, and stares at her as she walks in because they know who she is. And they know what happened to her husband, and they know some other interesting things.
Yeah, there were some other very interesting things, where it becomes sort of like, far more than she expected. I mean, obviously, she thinks that her husband had been killed, but also it seems like there may have been like some secret elements of her husband's life that she was unaware of, because he spent the majority of his time in France.
Yeah.
And he only periodically visited her in London.
Yeah.
So it's complex, and it's fun because we are coming up on the last episode, which we'll watch with pizza very soon.
Yeah, and we have a rule that when there is another season to start after that, we then watch the first episode, which then usually makes us go, that was kind of interesting.
Watch one more, right?
We can watch one more.
Yeah.
Do I want to get up early and get on the bike tomorrow morning?
And I say we just mention one other British show that we've been watching, and that is Harry Wild.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, Jane Seymour. I love her so much.
This is another one that we started quite some time ago. I think they're in their fourth
and she's
or fifth
also another similar situation because she's like she was a English professor.
Yeah.
So she's like an expert in like English literature and all that.
Yeah.
So and she uses all the things that she knew about story elements and storytelling in English literature to help her.
Yes, she's recently retired from that position.
Yes.
Her son, and this takes place in Ireland, I believe, doesn't
yes.
it? Yeah. Her son is I don't know if it's also, I guess he's a deputy inspector or detective inspector or whatever that title is called there. And she, because she is retired, she's bored and she wants to get involved with something, and I can't remember what the initial murder is that she gets wrapped up in, but there's a murder storyline that she figures, with my expertise I'm going to be able to help solve this. And she teams up with this young man, I assume he's a teenager, who was a wonderful character, and they kind of work together to start solving crimes, much to the chagrin of her son, who would rather she just go off and be retired
and stop making his life miserable because he's constantly having to explain why his mother is tromping around crime scenes and touching evidence that she's not supposed to be touching. It's really, and she is she is quite a character.
Well, let's just say she is not Dr. Quinn, medicine woman in this show.
Okay, but she is not her character from Somewhere in Time.
No, she's tough.
She is tough and sometimes a little raunchy, and she's awesome. She's just really.
She is. This is one of my favorite roles I've ever seen.
And I want to look like her at 44. And I'm 43, and she's like 74, something like that.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, she looks great.
Yeah.
It's a great. It's a small cast on there, but it's a very good cast. Yeah. We are just into the second season of that, but we've been loving it. There's we tried one other show that didn't knock us out.
Well, what was the one with the guy on that bike that I just couldn't get over?
Gosh, you really hung up on that bike.
It's the You look like a little Amish person at a circus or something. I don't. Was that midnight?
No, it was one of those Murdoch, I think Murdoch mysteries
Murdoch
or something. Something where I guess that they actually incorporate, I think, real historical figures. It got really sunny here. This one side of my hair is really bright.
He's an angel.
Yeah, you always have all be called that. But I think it was Murdoch Mysteries.
Yeah.
Or there's another one called Midsummer.
It took place in a very weird time frame, and it just wasn't what I was expecting, and it just didn't do it for me. And I couldn't take. He's riding one of these big, gigantic bikes that you see people ride in like circus things, and I just couldn't. But it wasn't for comedic effect, and he's got a weird little like Amish hat, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I just couldn't get past it, so I don't think
I know it's a really
me.
popular series, and maybe it gets better, but we've got enough on our plates, obviously, from what you could tell, and that's not even counting all the other things that we're into.
Oh, I know.
In terms of TV shows and American TV shows
and audiobooks,
and we'll be talking about those in future episodes of the Buddy and Lisa Show.
What were we gonna reference to maybe give a clue to talk about? Let's see if we can remember.
Oh, yeah. We were going to talk about
another show that we started that's not British. It has a connection to Stephen Moyer and True Blood, and Alexander Skarsgård is in a Apple TV series called Murderbot. And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw it, I was like, boy, this seems like one of these shows that can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
It can be really great, or dear God, no, this was just wrong. I absolutely love it, and we'll go into more detail about that.
We should definitely talk about that. Regardless of whatever else we talk about in the next episode, we'll talk about that, because that actually wraps up its first, I don't know if I told you this, I found out today, it wraps up its first season this week.
Okay.
And we have already watched, I think, the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, we're champions.
Yeah, Apple TV has been great. One other thing. Wait, let's talk about this in the next one too.
Okay.
Is Stick.
Stick
was starring Owen
Wilson. I love Owen Wilson.
I do too. He's ever since, I think the first thing I saw him in was Armageddon.
Yeah.
But so there are 2 things we'll talk about in the next episode with who knows what else.
Oh yeah.
So Death in Paradise, we highly recommend that. We highly also recommend.
We're also going to talk about writing at some point.
Yeah, we're going to talk about writing
episode.
too.
So the other one might be an episode after that.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to mix it up on here. Like I said, it's going to be TV. We obviously love TV, but writing. We're both writers. We're both working on novels right now.
I have to graduate. Yes.
Yeah, and I have to, just because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I pushed off for various reasons, which we'll talk about in future episodes.
Yeah.
But. We'll talk about writing. We'll talk about books.
Life.
Probably that cat who makes cameo appearances.
He's a lazy bum. I love him. He's spoiled.
He is definitely, she spoils him constantly. I mean, you just let him do. I said that with a lot of
I am
sarcasm.
the disciplinarian out of the 2 of us. He's like, oh, little boo-boo.
I'd love to, where you'll be trying to tell me something.
Yeah. I try to go to talk to him, and he's like ensconced in this conversation he's having. I'm like, who are you talking to? The cat? Okay. All right. Well,
it's our pal.
When I get knocked up to the number 1 status, let me know, and I'll fill you in on what I was talking to.
She's number 1, folks. And you're number 1 for watching us.
Yay!
So or listening to us. So this was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoy your company.
So we'll probably have more than 1 episode of these, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we got things planned already.
Yeah. All right,
right on. So thank you very much for being a part of the very first episode of the Buddy and Lisa Show. You can find us both all over the place on social media.
Yeah, I am Lisa M. Got Rights on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. And lisamgott.com.
Yeah, and I'm, Buddy Got just about everywhere. My website is buddygotwrites.com. I'm very, very, very active on Blue Sky. I'm a music lover. I'm really wrapped up in the music community there, playing different music challenges, stuff like that. That's about it for now.
Okay.
All right, so thank you again, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.